What's going on, guys? My name is El Dinero and welcome to another episode of my Manchester United career mode. We're starting this episode off with some deadline day activity as we go in for this player Chris Adeyemi, who's playing for Juventus, but he is a young English central midfielder, so I thought, yeah, we'll give him a go and see if he's any use to the team, just to add him to the team, just to get the numbers up, you know, an extra player to play in a Capital One Cup game or whatever. But early on in this video, I want to say that if this video gets to, let's say, 800 likes by about 6:30 this evening, I will upload a whole nother episode of career mode later on. So that is the challenge if you guys feel up to it. As you can see, we did sign Adeyemi and these are his stats. He's a CDM, he's 73 rated. He looks alright though, apart from the 1-star skill moves. That's a little bit disappointing. He's also kind of small, but it's grand. He's probably never going to develop into anything amazing. But we got an offer for Paulo Dybala from Genoa, which I actually accepted because he hasn't really progressed at all since becoming a Man United player, and I think he might be glitched. And even though I really liked him, I just decided 14 million is pretty good. And then I went in for this guy who is transfer listed at Barcelona by the name of Victor Andrade. I don't really know what kind of stats he has, but I know that Dybala wasn't really going to get his game for this season, so to replace him with a player who's transfer listed and won't have high expectations for his squad role, I think that was a pretty good thing to do. So Barcelona accepted our offer. We offer him 50 grand a week and a sporadic first team player squad role, just so that he won't be moaning about wanting a game or whatever. And I thought that was, I just think that it's good business. We see that Dybala has been sold, he's gone to Genoa, so we still have money left over for January if we need it, with that 18.9 million plus 277 grand in the wage budget, which we can alter for a higher transfer budget if needs be. But here's a look at Victor Andrade's stats. I actually think that he looks alright. I think he's fast enough. He doesn't really have good finishing or crossing or anything, but he does have the speed to get him into certain positions. And as we know from Jeffrey Schlupp, it's really good when players are like that, because it just allows them to have more impact when they come on off the bench, I think. But we go into our first game of the episode, which is against Swansea City, and this is in the Capital One Cup. And I think they're always our first team that we play in the Capital One Cup. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but I think twice or 3 times now I've come up against them in this tournament in the first round. As you can see, a weakened team from us. We've got like Kino Coulson, Bigira Mana, Nick Powell, Victor Andrade, players like that playing. Luciano Vieto, who isn't going to be the first team regular in terms of striker, not first choice striker, that's what I meant to say. But Swansea City hit the crossbar in the 9th minute through, I think it was Lloyd Dyer. And then the ball comes to Barnes, whose shot goes just over in the 10th minute. And that was kind of a little bit of a scare early on. I didn't know if my team would be strong enough, because I actually do, like, I play on Legendary and all that, but I don't know if I'd be that good on Legendary if I didn't have amazing players. Although I did pretty well with Leicester. Maybe I'm underselling myself. But in the 17th minute, Andrade went very close to scoring his first goal for United on his debut with that header from the corner. And then we come up to the 24th minute and Camara hit his shot just over. He's a player that we signed at Leicester and gave to Swansea in the deal for Ki Sung-young, I think it was. And then John Joe Shelvey had a shot in the 34th minute which almost scored. It tested the goalkeeper though. And then a terrible throw from De Gea sees the ball come to Jefferson Montero, but his low drilled shot was saved by De Gea. Then we come up to the second half, 10 minutes inside, as Nick Powell plays the ball back to Craig Dyer at left back. He passes it into Jesse Lingard, who turns and plays it in towards Andrade, who goes for the shot, sees it saved, and Jesse Lingard is there on the line to bundle it home and make it 1-0 to the home team, which was really, really nice, because Swansea were definitely a threat going forward, and they continued that in the 62nd minute when Ashley Barnes put the ball into the back of the net and he made it 1-1, providing the equaliser for Swansea, which was definitely a sad time in the Man United defence, but you'll have that in football. But we wanted to bounce back immediately from that, and I didn't really I didn't fear Swansea. I didn't think that I'd walk over them with the kind of team that I had, but I didn't fear them either. And Vieto came forward with some really nice footwork on the edge of the box, but sadly his finesse shot went just wide, although it was really, really good. And then Andrade comes bombing forward in the 81st minute. This is the turn of pace that I'm talking about. This is what will make an impact on the counter-attack, especially with my tendency to play on the counter-attack. And he gets the ball back from Vieto, but sadly an example of his finishing sees his shot go well wide. But in the 84th minute, Lingard kind of unnecessarily nutmegged the player and plays it into Adeyemi, who finds Vieto, who plays into Andrade, who couldn't find the back of the net, and Hemmings, the 5-star skiller, couldn't keep the ball in play after that. Then we come to the 87th minute with Adeyemi playing the ball into Luciano Vieto, who gets into the box in a great position, turns so well to take the sort of flight of the ball away from the goalkeeper, and then provides the finish. finish with his second goal in 2 games in a Man United jersey, and we managed to get the winner against Swansea, which was really good for our reserve team, I think. And then we go into our next game in the league, which is against Norwich City, who were the victims of my biggest ever win in the Premier League, which was with Leicester City, and I think it was a 7-1 win. So naturally I was hoping to repeat that. Timo Huppertz made his first start of the season, and Norwich went with Chris Wood and Gary Hooper up front, with Redmond playing on the wing, who is actually quite a good player. I should probably scout him and just see if he'd be any use. In the 5th minute of this game, Norwich came forward and the ball gets played into Gary Hooper, who tests David De Gea early on with the header, but it was saved. And then we come up to the 26th minute with Gareth Bale using the Ronaldo chop to get round Mikel. He runs into the box and goes for the shot, but it was saved by Ruddy. I think it's still Ruddy playing in goal for Norwich. And then Chalobah plays the ball to Bale in the 34th minute, and again the fake shot with the shot on the end of it, which was saved by Ruddy. I find sometimes, like in games, I had 100% shot accuracy in this match, but every single time the ball seemed to go straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, apart from here when Hector Villalba gave us the lead after Gareth Bale's cross from the corner, saw him in an unmarked position in the box, but the ball comes into Gary Hooper just before half time, who was in a great position, and his cross finds Chris Wood, who heads it into the back of the net with ease to equalise for the visitors at Old Trafford, which was a little bit frustrating given the gulf in quality between ourselves and Norwich. But Villalba wanted to put that right, and again just a shot straight at the keeper. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Sometimes it just happens that way. Bale's shot from distance was pretty good. Probably would never go in, but I was hoping that the rebound would come to somebody. Then Timo Huppertz gets fouled on the edge of the box, but the ball comes to Gareth Bale, who keeps the move alive and goes for the shot, but Ruddy saves with the fist once more, if it even is Ruddy. I'm pretty sure it is. But just beyond the hour mark, Norwich came forward as Redmond plays the ball into McGeehan, who's in a pretty good position. He finds Gary Hooper, who finds Chris Wood, whose finesse shot was saved by De Gea in the same way that Ruddy was saving his shots, kind of just punching it away, parrying it away. Villalba plays the ball into Gareth Bale in the 66th minute, but his finesse shot was also saved. And then we come up to the 72nd minute, this time Memphis Depay coming forward. He finds Hector Villalba, who goes for the shot, and again Ruddy, who was kind of continually off his line throughout the entire match, just providing the save. And we come up to the very last minute of the game with Hector Villalba on the ball. He finds Adeyemi, who almost wins the game for us, but Ruddy provides the save once more, and the game ends in a surprising 1-1 draw, as the Canaries did manage to claw that out of the result. And we end with 100% shot accuracy in the entire game. We had 14 shots overall, and all 14 of them were on target. But our next game is in the Champions League group stage, where I actually have a terrible record in the Champions League groups, but we take on Sporting Lisbon. We start off at Old Trafford, and it is good to get that home advantage. This is how our team looks, and it would be very difficult to struggle against anybody with this kind of team, with James Rodriguez, with Villalba, with Depay, Gareth Bale, and even Kister playing as a central defensive midfield, even though he's not really very good in that role. Well, it's not that he's not good, it's that it doesn't really suit his stats. Sporting's team is pretty good. You know, so unchanged from 6 seasons ago. That's one really annoying thing about career mode, is that it's just the way that the AI teams operates are just really stupid. But Coutinho almost providing the lead in the 19th minute for the visitors, but for the save from David De Gea. And then we come up to the 23rd minute with Diego Capel on the left hand side of the pitch. He does really well to keep it alive and puts in a great cross into Coutinho, who saw his header saved. And then in the 26th minute, Diego Capel was once again involved in the play, this time with a tackle from behind on Luke Shaw, which the referee did not take too kindly to, and he provides a red card for Diego Capel, who gets sent off just 27 minutes into the game, which is a huge disappointment for him. And things went from bad to worse for the visitors on the half-hour mark, as Hector Villalba came forward and found the back of the net with ease with the outside of his boot, putting us 1-0 up and starting off our group stage campaign in decent form, because that never really happens. I always kind of just scrape my way out of the groups and then get eliminated in the quarterfinals by Chelsea. That's generally how it works in my Champions League campaigns, but we'll see how this one goes. Bale's shot striking off the post and then moving in a way that doesn't seem to it doesn't seem consistent with modern physics. Like, I don't know how the ball can hit the post like that and then bounce away and then bounce out of play. Like, I've just never seen it do it in real life. I can't really wrap my head around how that works. But in the 74th minute, we almost managed to double our lead, putting some pressure on the Sporting defence, but it wasn't to be. And in the 81st minute, we launch into a counter-attack with the ball being played into Hector Villalba, who's up against Mauricio and sees Gareth Bale in a completely unmarked position, who gets into a grey area before heading it into the back of the net and continuing his really impressive goal scoring spell this season for us, which is just really amazing. Then we come up to the 87th minute of the game with Villalba keeping the attack alive as we approach the Sporting goal, but sadly his left-footed finesse shot was dragged wide. It actually went out for a corner kick. It got a block off of Carvalho, I think it was, just off the outside of his shin there, and James Rodriguez comes across to take the corner kick as he swings it outwards towards Smalling, who plays it out to Memphis Depay, who finds Gareth Bale, and Bale goes for the shot from distance, but it went wide. It didn't matter. We pick up a 2-0 victory and get 3 points out of our first game in the Champions League, which I don't even think that's happened before. I remember last season we didn't get a win until our last 2 games or something like that. But yeah, that's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see episode 124, let's get this to around 800 likes before 6:30, and it will be uploaded then. I've been El Dinero. Thanks for watching.